Hello and welcome back to another video. Today's video is part 2 of Dinner Party. Probably by now you know how all of this works, so let's just get right into it. Jan's candle company is called Serenity by Jan. Serenity, it comes from the word serene, meaning peaceful. So I guess Jan is hoping that when you smell her candles, you will feel at peace or maybe relaxed. At 3 minutes and 54 seconds, Jan tries to condescend Pam again. Jan calls Pam's arts doodles. Doodles are what little kids draw, or maybe when you're on the phone and a little bored, you just draw a quick doodle. If Jan wanted to make Pam feel nice, she could have called her art sketches, or drawings, or paintings, or even art. At 3:58, a campfire is mentioned. A lot of American families have campfires. They sit around it, they cook marshmallows, they make s'mores. I'll put a picture of what a campfire is right here. To make a s'more, you need 3 ingredients: marshmallows, graham crackers, and chocolate. Usually Hershey's chocolate. Over the campfire, you toast the marshmallow. Toast is a good verb, meaning to cook slowly, maybe to make it a little brown. We have a kitchen appliance called a toaster. You put bread into it and out pops toast. But you can toast way more things than bread, like marshmallows. So once you have your marshmallow nice and toasty over the bonfire, you put on a piece of chocolate and then sandwich it between 2 graham crackers, and then you have a s'more. Notice I just used sandwich as a verb. So for a second, we need to get into Michael's mind. He says campfire, changes it to Bondfire, which are basically the same thing. Then he changes bonfire to Bondfire, as in James Bond, and then he talks about Michael Scarn. If you've ever seen the episode called Threat Level Midnight, Michael's character, that's like James Bond, is Michael Scarn. Sometimes it's hard to follow Michael's brain even as a native English speaker. At 4 minutes and 13 seconds, Jan says poof. Then it all goes away. We often say that in English as poof, meaning it's gone, went away quickly. At 4:18, a master bedroom is mentioned, and that is the type of bedroom in the house that is usually reserved for the couple who owns the house. Husband and wife, usually a bigger bedroom. Sometimes it has an ensuite, which probably comes from the French and means that there is a bathroom attached to the bedroom. A bathroom that you don't have to leave the bedroom to get into. At 5 minutes and 3 seconds, Michael says, I finally broke down and bought that television, that massive plasma television of his. When he says broke down like that, it might mean that he couldn't afford it, or that he had to save up some money and then he finally made the decision. It was not a spur of the moment purchase. Spur of the moment means there was no thinking about it. It was purchased very quickly. Most people would say houses and cars should not be spur of the moment purchases. Sometimes you might hear an emotional breakdown, meaning they were overcome with emotions, they were overwhelmed. Maybe they broke down into tears. I often say that I am breaking down an episode of The Office, meaning I am putting it into smaller pieces so it can be understood. Lots of phrasal verbs with broke. If you're looking for more help with phrasal verbs, I'll put a link to a playlist that I have. At 5:04, Michael mentions his plasma TV. That's an older term that is not used anymore. It was basically what the TVs were before they started making them HD, which is high definition. Nowadays, you will mostly hear HD TV, maybe 4K TV, talking about the resolution. The resolution of a television is how we say exactly how clear it is. At 5 minutes and 16 seconds, Michael says, voila. And yes, that is French, but we often say that in English for here it is, voila, here's your meal. If you've been waiting for someone to arrive, you could say, voila, here they are. At 5 minutes and 34 seconds, Michael mentions how that furniture he made, whatever it is, was made out of pine wood. And pine is not known for producing great wood. The state that I live in is called the pine tree state. But pine trees can have a lot of sap associated with them. Sometimes it drips from them. If your car is parked under it, it might get a lot of sap on it, and it's often hard to clean. But I wouldn't spend a lot of time memorizing or learning the names of trees like pine, maple, and oak, just because it doesn't come up in conversation that often. At 5 minutes and 43 seconds, Pam mentioned something called TiVo. We don't use TiVo anymore, but at one time it was a way that we recorded television shows. So TiVo is another word in English I wouldn't worry about memorizing. At 6 minutes and 50 seconds, asabuca is mentioned. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I think it's an expensive, fancy kind of food. Nevertheless, it's another English word I wouldn't worry about learning. At 6 minutes and 57 seconds, Michael says, when in Rome. Most English speakers would know he is saying, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. It basically means when you are a guest somewhere, act like the host does. Don't try to change things too much. We also have a saying in the United States, ugly Americans. When we go to another country, we're not supposed to be loud and obnoxious. We are supposed to fit in, act like the native people of that country act. Some loud Americans have given us a bad reputation. At 7 minutes and 18 seconds, Michael says the wine has an oaky afterbirth. What he means to say is aftertaste. And some wines, some beers, some foods have an aftertaste, which is literally what it sounds like. The taste after you eat it. Afterbirth is something totally different. It might get a little gross here, sorry, but afterbirth is what comes out when a baby is born, along with the baby. It's usually pretty slimy and gross. So Michael really messed up those two words. And I don't know about you, but I love Hunter's song. You took me by the hand, made me a man, just one night. Ooh. At 8 minutes and 22 seconds, Angela says, I think she holds on to faxes. And that's a phrasal verb meaning she doesn't give them up, or she holds them for an extended period of time. For all of you young people watching, faxes were basically what we had to do to send messages before we had email. It would be part of Pam's job to deliver those faxes to Michael, so I'm not sure why she would want to hold on to them. At 9:04, Jan says, simmer down. That is slang for if someone is a little too hyper, has a little bit too much energy. That is an easy way to say, just calm down, simmer down. At 9 minutes and 28 seconds, Jim says, I'm gonna make a run for it. He means it could be risky, but I'm going to try to leave. People often say they are going to make a run for it when they're driving and come to a traffic light that's about to turn red, but they think they can make it. It's a little risky because they could get a ticket, but they're going to try it anyways. All right, that is gonna do it for part 2. There will definitely be a part 3 to Dinner Party. If you saw anything you liked here today, please subscribe to this channel. Leave a comment if something was unclear, and I promise I will answer it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.